How you doing, everyone? It's the Bigs Podcast, episode number 64. And we are here today to talk about relief pitchers. It's a really exciting position, and it's the position that for some reason we saved for last. But here we are talking about relief pitchers, and joining us tonight from Denver, Colorado, Jason Ashby. How you doing, Jason?
Mike, I'm doing fantastic. Baseball is right around the corner. I've been watching spring training games. It feels like baseball. I'm a happy guy, and
Yeah.
I'm ready to talk relief pitching. Ready to come out of the bullpen and talk some relievers with you guys.
Oh, nice. All right. Awesome. And also from Aberdeen, New Jersey, the one, the only Joe Schubert. How you doing tonight, Joe?
Hi, yes, I am. We're going to talk relief pitching, and I haven't done a bit of research into relief pitcher this year because, like we were just talking about off air, like 3 years ago, Drew Pomeranz was a big deal, and like Kirby Yates was the man. So, like, I just kind of feel like year to year it's kind of fluid. So let's just I like the way you guys structured this one for us to go over. So I'm excited. Let's go.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one. Real quick before we start, I want to give a shout out, happy birthday to my brother who it was this past Tuesday, and the last time we had recorded a show was last weekend. So I didn't get a chance to say it, but happy birthday to Josh, and hope you had an awesome day.
Yeah, happy birthday, Josh.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Josh.
So for this episode, we are going to do our rankings a little bit differently. The three of us chatted a lot off air about a unique and fun way to sort of rank the relievers, because as Joe brought up before, ranking relievers, it doesn't really do that much good because relievers tend to just show up out of nowhere, like John Duran last year, and they're nowhere near our rankings list. And closers who are ranked all the way up high fall from grace within like a week. So what we are doing for the show is we are going to be ranking our top 10 relievers per division. And it's going to be fun because I can't wait to hear our different rankings. I'm sure we're going to be similar towards the top and a little bit different towards the bottom. I'm also going to ask you guys, and I hope you're not unprepared for this, but for one random sleeper per division. So one sleeper who's not in your top 10, who you want to just kind of throw into the mix.
Okay.
Yep. Curveball.
Swing and a miss.
He can have a good curveball. So we're going to start with, where do you guys want to start? Jason, where do you want to start?
I mean, we got two NL East fans right here on this show. Let's kick it off with the NL East.
Yeah, Jason.
NL East. All right. So do you guys want to count backwards?
Of course. That's
sure.
the fun way
to do it.
Let's
go backwards.
Okay. Jason, let's start with you. Who is your number 10 in the NL East?
Is a guy who is not a closer, but he was mad filthy last year. I'm going AJ Minter from the Atlanta Braves. Again, I put it out there. This ranking was really tough because especially when you consider the bigs, how many relief pitchers we have to fill. We're talking guys who are not going to be closers, who are not going to get saves. So we have to at least have them in the conversation. So a guy like AJ Minter is a guy who he struck out 12 per 9 last year. So he's a guy he doesn't get saves. He's not a closer, but he's going to pitch in high leverage situations on a winning ball club. I'm ranking AJ Minter.
All right. That's nice. I do have him on my list, but he's a little higher. Joe?
Yeah, I have him on the list, but I have him a bit higher as well.
Yeah.
Are you asking me for my 10 here?
Yeah, who's your 10?
I literally have written here Tanner Scott or whoever. Like whatever they're most probably going to throw out there as their closer is probably the 10th best reliever in this division. If we're honest, there's 3 bullpens that have more dudes that could close on the Marlins team. But between the Marlins and the Nationals, I think the Marlins are going to win more games. By the way, do either of you guys have a National on this top 10?
I do. Yeah,
I do.
You guys are gross.
I know.
Gross.
He's not high up. He's not high.
No, he's not high for me either. But the thing is, I don't know about you, Mike, but I am valuing who I think is going to be a team's closer higher, because we don't have holds in this league, but we have saves. And so if a guy is going to get saves, that gives him a little more value to me than a guy like Minter, who is just going to get innings and strikeouts and relief appearances.
Yeah,
My
I think
I'm sorry, but my counter
go ahead.
argument to that is, how many do you really think Kyle Finnegan's gonna get? And would you really want like 12 saves of Kyle Finnegan with a 4.70 ERA, or 63 relief appearances from AJ Minter with a sub 2.5?
It's a fair point.
It is, and I think what we have to decide what we're measuring is, well, what do we value more, the quality arm or the save? And I think it's up to us individually what we value going and making this list, right?
I value whatever the hell the Marlins are throwing at the back end of their bullpen as the 10th best reliever. Mike, where are you on this?
I am on the same team as you, Joe, but not Tanner Scott. I'm at AJ Puck for number 10.
Okay, he was my sleeper.
Oh, okay.
So
Cool. AJ Puck. There you go. All right. Let's move on to 9 here. Jason, who's your 9?
Kyle Finnegan. Because again, I hear your argument, Joe, and it does make sense. But again, for the sake of this ranking, like I'm going with guys who are closers, and someone's going to get saves on the Nationals. Someone's going to get saves on the Pirates. Someone's going to get saves on all the shitty teams. So that to me just gives them a little bit extra, because it's a stat that a guy like Minter or whoever is not going to get. So that's why I got him a little bit higher. But I probably don't draft Finnegan, but I'm ranking him higher.
I get it. Somebody's gonna get those saves. You can have all of them from Kyle Finnegan. I'm sorry. And listen, he could go out there and make me look like an idiot and get 30 saves this year, right? He could be Shane Green, I guess, or whatever. I don't know. I got Joe Jimenez at 9 because he's a name and the Braves traded for him, and he's probably going to be like the other setup guy along with Minter, who's a little bit higher. So,
okay.
Jimenez.
All right.
How about you, Mike?
All right, my number 9, I've got Kyle Finnegan. So Jason, we are the same. Yes.
Right. Fine. I'll just put his name here to research after we get off air or
There we
whatever.
Go. There we go.
Wonderful.
All right. Jason, who's your 8?
It is AJ Puck.
Hey.
Because I don't think he's going to start the year as a closer, but I think he could become the closer in Miami, and he's hurt right now again, though, so it's a red flag. That's been the case with him, is staying healthy, and he's never been able to. But if he can, pitch a good season, and again, like all these other bad teams, someone's going to get saves, and I think they traded for him. They're going to put him out there, so I like Puck.
I like Puck. Joe,
Puck.
Who's your 8?
I like Lamp. My 8, you guys aren't gonna like, but look, we don't know what the hell is gonna happen at the back end of the Philly bullpen right now, and this dude had 30 saves, so it's Gregory Soto. They traded for, like, the same argument that exists for AJ Puck exists for Gregory Soto. I don't like it any more than you guys do, and it's kind of gross, but here it is.
I have Soto higher.
There you go.
Sorry, Mike.
I do not have Soto ranked, but it's probably.
I didn't think you would.
Yeah. It's recency bias. That's all it is. My number 8 is a guy that you guys probably don't have on your list at all, and it's Dylan Lee on the Braves.
Over Joe Jimenez. Interesting.
Yep. Yeah, I like this guy a lot. I like his stuff. He had a really nice low ERA. Nice K per 9 last year. He's just a random Braves pitcher.
Which hand does he throw with?
His left.
Okay.
His own.
These are things I need to know if I'm going to research these guys.
Yes, he throws with his left hand. I just like this guy. He's a fun guy to do a little research on. Threw 50 innings last year, and 10.5 K per 9. It's pretty nice. That's
He's
it.
he's 28. He really was just he pitched 2 innings in 21. This is really his first, this is his rookie season. So yeah, it was nice. It was a nice season, but he's a little too far down the pecking order for me.
Okay.
I feel like Frank Bucco knows exactly who this guy is.
Probably.
I'm sure he does.
Probably. All right. So that's everyone's 8. Number 7, Jason.
Is the guy who I think is going to start the season as the Marlins closer. Again, I'm valuing these closers. I'm going with Dylan Floro. I don't like him, although he's had a decent run these last 2 seasons. Like his ERA is only 2.92 over the last 2 seasons. He hasn't been terrible. I don't like him. I do think that Puck is going to end up overtaking him as the closer, but going into the year, I have him as starting the year as a closer. So I'm going with Floro.
Okay.
I believe he would count as or whoever for my number 10. Like him.
Yeah.
Okay. So my 7 is actually David Robertson.
Oh my God, me too.
Good job, Mike. Former Yankee. I honestly think if anything happens to Edwin Diaz, he's obviously the dude, and I don't think it's all that close. I think it'll be a much more committee than anything else if it happens to Diaz. But I mean, he's the best of the free agents they've brought in over the last few years, right? Between Trevor May and the other crap guy that they brought in, Betances. They did that.
Oh,
so yeah, give me David Robertson. He's gonna obviously get a ton of appearances and maybe a save or 2.
Yeah, I echo everything you just said. That is my 7 as well. Jason, who's your 6?
My 6 is Gregory Soto. Because again, I don't know who's going to close for the Phillies, and in fact, I have all 4 of them ranked. I have him. So I have him. I have him the 4th of all 4 of them, just because he does have the closer experience. It's not good, so I don't know. I don't think he's going to close for the Phillies, but if something were to happen to whoever is the closer, he at least has the experience. It's somebody I could see having some value, especially on a winning ball club.
No.
Yeah, I mean,
sorry. Can't.
Literally every single word of what Jason just said applies to my number 6, who's Craig Kimbrell.
Oh my God, that's my number 6. Stop it.
Oh my God.
Like everything you just said, he has closer experience. He might start as the closer. We don't know. He's like he's good, kind of sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm on board. I'm on board with Kimbrell. I can't get behind Soto. He's the only one I don't have ranked as the Philly 4 or whatever. And I just think there are 3 better arms in that bullpen than Soto. So see you later. All right. So Kimbrell is my 6. Kimbrell is Joe's 6. Who's your 5, Jason?
Another one, the Philly 4. This is gonna be Dominguez. So Anthony. I have him at 5 just because he had a good year last year, but like before that he didn't really pitch at all. So like I don't know if he's gonna be the closer. I don't know what to make of him. He's been good though, so like I like him. I feel like the Phillies like him in that kind of like 7th, 8th inning setup role. I don't know if he's gonna end up closing for them.
Okay, Joe.
I have Dominguez higher than 5.
Me too.
I think it's interesting that they've sort of paired off a righty and lefty dude.
Yeah.
Twice. That they might deploy this as like a lefty and a righty every night, and who knows, right? And for me, Dominguez is the better of the right-handers, so he's higher than Kimbrell. The other guy is better than the other lefty in Soto, so I've got him higher. My 5's AJ Minter, man, and if anything happens to Raisel Iglesias, this is the dude too. So I think he's a top 5 reliever in the division. Period, full stop. And then for as far as fantasy is concerned, I think he also fits that mold as well.
Yeah.
Who you got at 5, Mike?
I've got Jose Alvarado at 5.
Okay.
So, I mean, we're all kind of having the same conversation here. The only reason why, I have Minter at 4. So the only reason why I give Minter the edge over Alvarado is I think he just has fewer guys to jump over to get that closer role. If anything happens to Iglesias, it's Minter's job, most likely. But
Yeah,
I don't necessarily trust that Alvarado is next in line for saves. So that is my argument.
I have Alvarado at 4,
I do
and
as well.
for me, it's the strikeout rate. Like if I'm not valuing saves, or saves isn't in the conversation, it's strikeouts, and Alvarado strikeouts are just ridiculous. He struck out 12.63 per 9 over the last 2 years. So, he's good. He's good.
It's just the easier way to say that he's better than AJ Minter. Like, he's just a better pitcher than AJ Minter. And you know what? He had a couple of really loud blowups, but he throws a $101 with movement. He's filthy. Like, he's really good.
His walks are a little high, which is because he has all that movement, doesn't necessarily know where it's going all the time. But I can get past that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
So, Mike, who do you had Minter at 4, right?
I have Minter at 4. Yep.
Do we have now? Jason obviously won't have the now. Do you and I have the same top 3, Mike?
Probably.
Yeah, I think it
looks like it. Yeah.
All right, Jason. Who's your 3?
I feel like I'm missing somebody. Then I have Kimbrel at 3 because I think he is going to be the closer, at least to start with. He's got the most experience, and the last 2 seasons haven't been terrible for him. He struck out 13 per 9 over the last 2 years. He's shown that he's healthy again. I could see it. They signed him. I could see him at least getting the lion's share of the closer role, at least to start with.
Okay. Joe, who's your 3?
My 3 is Dominguez. I think he kind of proved it by the playoffs. And, they went out and got Kimbrel, but Kimbrel didn't prove anything on the Dodgers last year. And if you can't do it there, where else can you do it? Like, I'm more of the feeling that this is very obviously Dave Dombrowski making up for the Detroit Tigers mistake that he got that team to a World Series and just never built a bullpen. So he just overspent for as many bullpen dudes as he could possibly get. Traded for Soto, bought Kimbrel, has Alvarado and Dominguez already in place. And guess what, guys? They still got dudes coming off the farm. Like, there's a kid who's throwing 100 down there already. So, like, there's more coming.
But I added Matt Strom too.
Yeah, there's another one. One.
Yeah, you're right. This is a pretty packed bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so my 3 is Dominguez. Joe's 3 is Dominguez. Jason is Kimbrel. Jason, what's your 2? I think we all have the same 2-1.
I think our top 2 has to be the same, right?
Yeah.
Iglesias and Diaz, There's no way it can be another order, right?
No, I don't think so. Anything you want to say about either one of those players?
Edwin Diaz is the best closer in baseball, and it's not really all that close.
Trumpets.
Period. Full stop. It's not really that close. He doesn't get all of the saves because they use him as the fireman in the 8th if the middle of the order is coming up. But he strikes out more than half of the dudes he faces. He's the best reliever in baseball. Stop it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's it. That's all you gotta say.
Cool. Yep. Any other sleepers that we didn't mention for the NL East? Jason, you got one?
No.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'll throw one out there. Since AJ Tuck was on your guys' list, let me go ahead and take Drew Smith. Right? Like, we like Drew Smith, don't we, Jason? Like, we kind of like Drew Smith in that next dude up after Robertson, along with Ottavino. Like, he's young enough that he could take a step forward here, and I really want him to do that because we really need to start getting a young dude into this mix of older guys in the bullpen before they start falling off. So
and I think he started taking that step last year, then he got hurt. So yeah, I'd love to see him be able to do that. I honestly though, I feel like if they had faith that he was going to do that, they wouldn't have signed Robertson. Like, but
I
I
think
mean,
it's
maybe it's
fine
another.
to bring in that guy, though. Like, I think it's fine to bring
Yeah,
in that guy and go, okay, beat him.
yeah. Or bring back Ottavino. Because Ottavino was a multi-year deal, right? So like, and he's 37. So yeah, you're right. It is a very aging bullpen, and
Yeah.
we've seen that be a problem before. So, um, you know what? I'll give a sleeper here. How about Hunter Harvey
Oh,
on the
you
Nationals?
stole mine.
Gross. The Nationals are terrible. You guys are gross.
Yeah, but they are. But that means that it could be anybody's job. And this was a guy that like was a top prospect for the Orioles. He couldn't throw a pitch without getting hurt. But what the hell? It's a sleeper. So maybe he's something.
Yeah.
Carl Edwards
what do you-
Jr. That
The guy's a string bean.
Yeah. He's also had like really poor velocity or something in the spring. I read some story about it. I don't know. Not
His
that.
walks it behind. Mike, what do you like about Harvey?
I like his hair. Oh, what do I like about his pitching? He can hit like 99, 100 on the gun pretty easily. He's got a nice strikeout rate. And we talked about Kyle Finnegan before. Like that's not anything too scary to overcome and to like
Right.
take the throne. So I think Harvey's got a chance to close. What can he get, like 10 saves by the end of the season? Maybe something,
Yeah.
I guess. So yeah, all right. So I
Goes
think
on board.
that wraps up the NL East for us. Let's
All right, where are we going to next?
why don't we remain in the East? How do you feel about that?
Let's do it.
All right. AL East. Joe, you want to start us with your 10?
All right. So this guy kind of screwed me over. I think it was 2021 when I took him in the 6th round, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get this starting pitcher eligible reliever to close out games in Tampa." And then he went and had Tommy John surgery and missed all of last year. Well, he's back. It's Andrew Kittredge, and what happens if he throws? Honestly, I have no idea who's throwing in Tampa outside of the other two guys I have ranked, and I don't believe in them a whole lot. So.
Yeah. Is he? I don't know when he is he healthy?
Is he
I don't
back?
know.
Yeah, that's what I want.
No idea. No idea. This is one of those moments where I'm like, I truthfully don't really know that much about relief pitcher.
In February, he was placed on the 60-day injured list.
All right. Well, he had
I
Tommy
take
John
that
in
back.
June.
It was rescinded actually, so he is not on the 60-day IL. I don't know what he is.
I have no idea. He very well could be recovering from Tommy John, because I think it did happen in 2022 that I took him. So
yeah,
there he goes. That's the first oopsie daisy from the bullpen. At least I don't have to draft that guy. At least I'm doing this on March 3rd and not March 30th.
There we go. Jason.
All right, so I don't have a 10. You guys are gonna have to fill in my 10.
Okay.
All right, we'll do our best. Mike, I'm gonna go somebody who's probably near and dear to your heart. Jonathan Loaizaga.
Nice. Thank you.
Just again, I don't know if he's going to get saves, and he was not good last year. Everybody I feel like everybody was raving about him after coming out of 2021, and I don't feel like he was really good last year. But he is the next guy in the Yankees bullpen, so I have to have him on the list.
Yeah, I agree. You guys before were asking me how many Yankees I have on this list. And I have 3, and you guys both have 2. So my number 10 is 100%. I have no questions about it. Michael King.
Okay.
He is 100% healthy this year. He was dominant when he was on the mound. I don't think he's going to be closing any games, but he's a guy with a ton of talent who we don't have a lot of guys we trust in this bullpen right now, but Michael King is absolutely one of them for me. So I love that
he did put up nice numbers. I'll give you that. He definitely did put up some good numbers last year. I might have overlooked him.
What was the injury?
That's a great question. I don't remember. Let's look.
I don't remember what it was either. I do remember his name floating around for quite a while until he got hurt and then like missed the whole rest of the season.
He fractured his right elbow.
Yeah, he got hit with a comebacker.
Yeah,
Ow.
Yeah.
but
So that's a freak injury.
he did not have any UCL damage, so there was no major surgery there.
The only thing that very obviously concerns me is that it would be his throwing elbow, and like if it's been weakened by damage, it possibly could, like if he hasn't already had Tommy John. That being said, he was good. I can give you that. Sure, I'm in for that guy in the 10 conversation.
All right, awesome. All right,
sweet.
Joe, who'd you have at 9?
Does Tanner Houck still pitch in the bullpen of Boston?
You know what? I had him on the list at one point, and I knocked him off because I don't know. Yes, he's going to pitch in the bullpen, but I don't know. I'm looking at roster resource. I'm using them as kind of the guide, and they have him lower down in the pecking order, so I had to knock him off.
I just kind of feel like this is one of their young kids, right? Like this is one of the kids they didn't give up to trade for somebody. Like, so they're going to use him in some capacity. It's whether him and Whitlock are in the rotation, the bullpen, one in each. I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't put Whitlock in this list because I think they actually want to push him as a pitcher, despite the fact that or as the starter, even though I think he's the better reliever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I had him last year in the bigs with the intention that he would be the closer, and he was for like a second, and then they're like, no, let's push him back into a starting role. I'm like, okay, that's cool, but now he's only pitching like 3 innings, so like that doesn't do me any good.
So yeah, I've got Houck, but like that can pretty much be interchangeable with whoever the setup guy for the Red Sox is. I guess Chris Martin might also fit the bill.
He is my number 9.
Okay.
Chris Martin.
Right.
Because I think he is going to be the setup guy. And looking at his numbers, like he hasn't been terrible. He's been okay. Again, I think he would be the next in line if something happens to Jansen.
Okay. I only have one Boston Red Sox in my top 10. And you know who it is. So my number 9 is actually the setup man in Baltimore. I'm going to go Cionel Perez here. Nice little 1.40 ERA in 57 innings last year.
Yeah.
I like this guy. He doesn't really strike out a ton. Doesn't strike out a lot, but he has a nice ground ball rate, and he's crafty enough to like pitch around some heavy hitters. So I like him a lot.
Joe looks like he's got something to say.
All right, Joe, you have something to say about Cionel Perez?
Listen, I'm going to ask you the same questions that I always ask when somebody has a really nice season, and you're like, yeah, and like he doesn't strike out a ton of guys. He just like limits hard contact, and he got a 1.40 ERA. Do you think Cionel Perez is getting better than a 1.40 ERA this year?
Better? No.
Do you think he's going to do better than a 2.40 ERA this year?
I don't know. Could be in that area.
He could have a 4.40 ERA this year, and it wouldn't shock anybody.
He could. What are we talking about? Comparing him and John Schreiber or Chris Martin? Like, come on, what are we talking about here?
I think that's it. And we talked about the volatility of this position, and that's what it is. It's a guy is great one year and he's terrible the next year, and he's terrible one year and he's great the next year. It's a dart throw, especially this low in the respective division list. It's a dart throw.
Yeah. Tough.
I do have a real interesting one at 8, to be honest with you.
All right.
Mine's Eric Swanson. He was the return for the Teoscar Hernandez piece. Hey, I got one. All right.
Eric Swanson.
I have him higher.
What? Oh, yeah. All right. I don't know anything about this cat other than he came from Seattle and was the return for the Teoscar Hernandez trade. So who else in Toronto?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. The one guy. There's one guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just say this is my favorite thing that we've done with Joe so far in this off season? Like,
This is great.
without a doubt,
I should come less prepared all of the time. now.
all the time.
That's what Mike Haber's going with, is that I come less prepared and it's more fun. Okay.
It is.
Don't do your homework.
Okay.
Uh,
All right.
All right, Jason, who's your 8?
I have Sino Perez.
Woo!
All right,
Yeah,
fine.
because
I have
again,
the list of dudes.
I mean, yeah, it was 1 year because he was dog shit in 21, but like he was good enough. And is he going to repeat a 140? I don't know, but he's the backup to Felix Bautista, who is hurt right now. So like, if there's a guy that's going to get saves in Baltimore that's not Bautista, it's probably going to be this guy. We like the Orioles. I have him ranked.
Love it. I love it so much. All right, Joe, who's your 7?
Jason, Adam, John, Frank, Bob, Phil. He has like 6 first names. I don't know. Jason, Adam. Is he a guy?
I think
He
so too,
is.
but yeah.
Yeah.
I've got him a little higher.
I
Ditto.
don't know why he's special. I don't know why he's named after 2 first names. His poor family who decided to, like, if they were Adams, then we'd have the gimmick, right? But like we don't have that, so it's just one Adam, and his name is Jason,
But like,
and he's at 7.
His last name was Adam, so what were they gonna do? Name him
Adam.
Anyway,
Okay.
is he like a good strikeout dude, or is he like? I honestly don't know. I just
He
think
is.
He struck out about 10 per 9 last year.
Okay.
A little over 10 per 9. 145 batting average against. Good walk
Nice.
rate. Good strikeout rate. Good ERA. Yeah.
He was on my team last year. He was fun. He was a lot of fun.
But
So
it
you
was
must
1
have him
year.
higher than 7.
I have him 1 notch higher than 7.
Okay.
Jason, who's your 7?
My 7 is Swanson
Okay.
because it's the Blue Jays and
yeah,
everything that Joe said.
my 7's Loizaga, who we talked about already.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
that's 2 Yankees.
Well, you know why he's up there is because I don't necessarily trust Clay Holmes. He's not really a closer. So I think he's got the lowest or the smallest leash out of some of the closers that we're looking at here in the AL East. So that's why I have Loizaga a little higher.
Okay.
All right, so that was my. You have words, Joe. Go ahead. You have words.
I mean, this is a nice transition because I do have Loizaga at 6.
Oh,
For
okay.
all of the reasons that you just said. Yes, I have Clay Holmes higher than him, only because the Yankees seem kind of committed to Clay Holmes first.
Yeah.
But this is their kid, right? This and Michael King are the 2 homegrown kids, which now really makes me think about putting Michael King at 10. But like Jason, you said it. I drafted him last year. He was dog shit for like the first half, and then he went to the minors, and then he came back, and then he was legit again.
Yeah.
And he was on somebody else's team, and it was annoying me. And so like that put him on my radar for this year because when we talked about it years ago, Chapman, Britton, Chad Green, all gone, all just off the roster immediately. And the Yankees did nothing to backfill them except go get Clay Holmes and let Jonathan Loizaga grow. That's it. These are the 2 guys. This is what you've got this year. If you want to tell me that Scott F. Ross is a human or Michael King might be a guy, okay. But like, this is your bullpen now, and it kind of sucks.
But yet we have him ranked at 6. Like
because they're the Yankees. They're going to win 95 games. So somebody's going to close these 95 games out.
Yeah.
I mean, I have him at 10 because it's the Yankees, but like that has to be good.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Who else?
All right.
Who else has 6s that they want to talk about?
Jason, who's your 6?
My 6 is Clay Holmes.
Okay. Well, I'm curious to see who you have in your top 5.
Mhm.
All right. Clay Holmes. What do you want to say about him? You trust him?
I, I don't like him, but he is the closer of the Yankees, so I
Okay.
guess he's going to get saves. But you said it, his leash is so short. That means that
Mhm.
is he that good of a closer if his leash is that short? And if Loizaga, if their bullpen sucks, are these guys good or do they suck? Like,
I
I don't know what to make of this bullpen,
I
but
want a
it is the
T-shirt of that
Yankees.
statement.
So.
I want a T-shirt of that statement. If these guys suck, is their bullpen good or do they suck? That's the statement right there.
Jason Ashby, 2023. Yeah, no, the fact is that the Pirates didn't want Clay Holmes. The Pirates didn't want Clay Holmes. And now
Yeah,
he's
but that's
closing.
but that doesn't hold weight anymore, dude. That dude so saved you like 25 games in 2021 and got you to the playoffs. So like
Yeah,
you found something that the Pirates were ready to cast off.
yeah,
You
we
want to
found
make the argument that like the A's got rid of Lou Trevino for you? Fine. You want to say the Cubs got rid of Scott Efros on you? Fine. You just tried to find another Clay Holmes on a couple of other teams, is what you did.
Yeah, we did. That is true. That is true. My 6 is Jason Adam, which is your first name and my middle name. Who
And he's
is
my number.
he's your number 5?
Yeah.
Okay. Joe, who's your number 5?
The other side of that, which is Pete Fairbanks.
Me too.
I feel like he's the safer of the two. And given that we've got 3 pretty much established dudes as 1, 2, and 3, he falls here at 5 as like the better, like the least safest option. Does that make sense? Like he's the worst of the safest options for saves immediately out the chute.
Yes,
Okay.
I understand
Yeah.
that. Yes.
Yep.
Yep. That's why I have Fairbanks at 5 as well. Jason, I'm assuming you have him at 4.
I do. I have him and Adam back to back because it's the Rays. You never know what they're going to do, but you're right. I think Fairbanks, if he's healthy, I think he's the guy. But apparently, Jason Adam is also like in the conversation too for some reason. So it's the Rays.
Yep. Yeah, you never know what they're going to do. Joe, is it safe to assume we both have Clay Holmes at 4?
We do. And I just want to kind of piggyback off what Jason just said, that he has Fairbanks and Adam together,
Mhm.
kind of sandwiched by, was it Clay Holmes and somebody else, Jason?
I had Clay Holmes just below Adam.
Okay. So Clay Holmes is at the bottom. Now, the way I have it is Clay Holmes at 4, Pete Fairbanks at 5, as those guys are the bottom tier of this thing to start with saves. And then it's Loizaga and Adam because I feel safer that Loizaga will take over Holmes's job first. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I follow
Okay.
it.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, Clay Holmes at 4, along with you, Mike.
Okay. Jason, who do you have at 3?
Felix Bautista.
This should go in the same order, right? This is Bautista,
I think
Jansen,
so.
Romano.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
One more year of Bautista, and he might overtake Jansen.
Mhm.
Probably overtakes Jansen.
And
But
if it wasn't Jansen, it might not be this order, right? If it was somebody else that they went and got,
right.
it might be Felix Bautista too.
Yeah. But Jansen, A, he's aging, and B, he's on a shitty Red Sox team. So there is worry there, but it is still Kenley Jansen. So, and there's really nobody else for that job. Like it's his.
Correct. Yeah, correct. And I think Jordan Romano is just, it goes without saying.
Clear cut number 1 in this division. Yeah.
Clear cut.
Yeah.
All right.
So do we think Toronto's winning the division?
Oh, we think
Long
we have the best
awkward
closer.
long awkward pause.
Yes. Yes, we do.
All
Okay.
right, go Jason. Stand on that hill.
Any wild sleepers from the AL East?
I got one. I'll take your CNL Perez and throw it out the window for DL Hall.
Oh yeah.
All right, that's a top prospect that they got coming up, not some 30-something-year-old dude who had a magic 140 ERA season.
But is he gonna be in the bullpen?
I
Or-
would imagine I'll take him or Keegan Aiken, one of the two of them. Like
Yeah.
they're both really young and good pitchers that have done stuff and not smoke and mirrored their way to a 140 ERA.
Okay. Fair.
You know what? I'll take Tanner Houck as a sleeper because I did have him ranked at some point. I do like him. I think he can be a closer if they let him. So yeah, I'll take Houck as a sleeper here.
Okay. I like it. I'm gonna dig deep. And this may be a homegrown pick, but I don't care. I'm going Ron Marinaccio on the Yankees.
There it is. There it is.
Hey, my Ronnie Marinara sauce. I like it.
Yep. Keep an eye on him. I think if we're talking about how bad this Yankees bullpen is, I could see this guy climbing up to a setup role and maybe even a closer. So we'll see.
Okay.
All right.
Shall see. All right. So that will wrap up the AL East for us. Let's move to the Central. NL Central.
Sure.
Anyone? All right.
Let's get that over with.
If we must.
We must. Yeah. Jason, who's your 10?
Oh, this was a tough division. Like the top 2 or 3, yeah, and then everybody else, like whoever the fuck. I have Matt Bush.
You have Matt Bush.
I have Matt Bush at number 10. You know what? He came out last year and struck out 11.5 per 9, like in 60 innings. So like he's a setup guy for the Brewers. If Devin Williams can't figure it out, maybe he becomes a dude. Matt Bush.
Matt's Bush. All right.
Who the hell is Matt Bush?
He was the guy
How do I
on
not
he was
know
on the
this
Rangers.
guy?
He was the Rangers prospect like 4 or 5 years ago or something like that, and he was out of baseball for a while. He had like issues. I think he had he had issues. Matt Bush.
Matt Bush. Okay, I have to look up who Matt Bush is. I don't even know who he is.
That's my number 9, Jason. So.
Oh, okay.
All right. Yeah, I definitely have
I
to
feel
look this dude
vindicated.
up now.
Thank you.
All right. So my 10 is a dude who used to throw 105 miles an hour. I don't know if he still does. Jordan Hicks. Like he's still a
He's
human.
my
who can
9.
throw Okay.
He's
All
my
right.
10. He's my 10 as well.
Wow. All right. I feel good about that. I just blindly threw him at because I didn't know who to add on at the end. I was like, that dude still throws really hard, right?
Yeah. He's just all over the
Yeah.
place, but he does throw hard.
So it's
He
Jose
just can't stay
Alvarado.
healthy.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So that's my 10 as well. My 9 is Matt Bush. So Jason, who's your 9? Oh, you had
Hicks.
So Joe, who's your 9?
Mike. It's a Mike Haber guy. It's a Mike Haber, like really close to your heart kind of guy. Because I know how much faith you put into Lucas Sims over and over and over again. And this dude just broke your heart every single time. Like this dude would give you like 2 appearances and then fall off and like be done for a month. So I feel like I had to include him here in the top 10. I have him here at 9.
Okay. I have him nowhere near this list. But I appreciate the sentiment.
You're welcome.
Yeah, he threw 6 innings last year. I couldn't go there.
Yeah, no, but Joe's right. It's because of the heartbreak. I couldn't touch him. All right, Jason, who's your 8?
My 8, Giovanni Gallegos for the Cardinals. Because again, I think if something happens to Helsley, I think he either him or Hicks are going to be the next guy. And he had a nice year last year. He struck out 11 per 9 in 59 innings, so with a 3 ERA. Yeah, I like the Cardinals. I thought Gallegos was going to be the closer before Ryan Helsley came about. So yeah,
I have Gallegos a little bit higher.
I have him a lot higher.
Yeah, Joe, who do you have at 8?
I have Genesis Cabrera at 8 because I don't know whether it's going to be Hicks or Cabrera as like that next dude. And apparently they're talking about Andre Palante being a thing too. That guy was a mess for me, but he worked as an SP eligible dude. But at the end of the day, I'll take whatever Cardinal guy I can get my hands on. So I have 4 of them in my top 10 here. But I definitely like them in the order that I'm placing them here. So Hicks is the 4th guy. Cabrera here is the 3rd.
Okay.
I can't get behind that really low strikeout rate. Like we were talking about
the Cardinals, man. I will accept Cardinal black magic sometimes. Like Mark Zepchinski put together a really, really respectable career with no strikeouts.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Fair.
All right. My 8 is actually kind of a sleeper, but I've moved him into my top 10. A chance, I think, to get some saves. Michael Fulmer on the Cubs.
I have him at 7.
All right.
I have him higher. I have him at 6.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought I was gonna be the only one with this guy on my list, but all right. Cool.
Now you don't go out and sign that guy after the season he had, and he's a rookie of the year. He got traded to Minnesota and kind of stunk up the joint. So like it's a really nice buy low opportunity. The one guy I won't get in on from the Cubs bullpen is Brad Boxberger.
Me neither.
Oh. Okay.
You have him, Jason.
I got in on him.
Oh.
All right, cool. Jason, is that your 7?
It is. Fulmer is my 7.
Oh, no, who's your 8? Who's your 8?
Gallegos was my 8.
Oh, so you have Boxberger pretty high up on this list, huh?
He is 6.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So I think we're all in agreement, though, that the Cubs bullpen is sort of around this area. If you believe that Boxberger is going to be the guy that's going to close games for them, go ahead. He didn't close.
He's not the last Cub that I have on this list.
No, I have 2 of them. I don't have Boxberger ranked. I assume you have all 3 of them. The one guy we're not talking about is my number 7. It's Brandon Hughes, guys. He was the guy who was closing out games for the Cubs at the end of the year. So him or Michael Fulmer could really just be that guy for me. I think it's gonna be one of those 2 guys. I think Boxberger is just like a nice 7th inning like security blanket guy. I don't think he's that good.
I agree. I have Brandon Hughes at 6. I actually have another Cub at 7 that we have not spoken about. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
His name is Adbert Alzolay.
Oh, get out of here with that guy.
He's been tantalizing for a couple of years now, but he just can't stay on the field.
He can't, but he's got a wicked strikeout rate when he does stay on the field, and that's what I'm looking for. And with a team that has 17 closer committee members, like I'll take one of them in Alzolay. Why not take a flyer on him?
I mean, he probably has the most upside of all of these guys if he can stay healthy.
Yeah, he's young too. Still, right?
I don't know, man. I don't know what Brandon Hughes' upside can be. I haven't seen that child throw a baseball very often.
He's the only lefty in the Cubs. Brandon Hughes.
Yeah, that does bother me. I do hate the idea of a team making their only lefty a closer.
Yeah,
that does bug me.
Actually, Hughes is actually a little younger than Alzolay. Yeah, like a few months, but yeah.
Yeah, like Alzolay is already 28. Like if we're gonna see it, it's gonna happen now.
Honestly, I thought he was younger.
He's just gonna be a busted prospect, I think.
He could be. Yeah, it's very possible. But it is fascinating that all of us are like 6, 7, 8 Cubs. Pretty much.
Ish.
All right. So who didn't give their 7? 10 or 6?
My 7 and 6 were Michael Fulmer and Brandon Hughes. I think Jason, you said your 6 and 7 were Boxberger and
Fulmer. Yeah.
There you go.
Mine are Alzolay and Hughes. Okay.
Right. And I have Hughes number 5. So like I have all 3 Cubs right there because I feel like it could be any one of those 3.
Okay. Joe, who do you have at 5?
The guaranteed closer in Cincinnati of Alexis Diaz.
Okay.
Because barring like injury or that kid completely shitting the bed, he's got that job, and I don't think it's really all that close.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I just
have
think
him
the
higher.
team's going to be atrocious.
Yes, the team is going to be awful, but I think he's far and away the best arm by far that this team can throw out there. So, all right, so that is your 5. Jason, who's your 5 is Hughes, Jason, right?
Correct.
All right, my 5 is Giovanni Gallegos.
Okay.
So Jason, who's your 4?
I'm going. I hate doing this, but because he is the closer on the worst team in baseball, but it's David Bednar. Like, he still got 19 saves last year or 2 years ago or whatever it was. He gets saves on a bad team. Honestly, I didn't realize how good his numbers actually were until I started looking at him. He struck out 12 per 9 last year.
Yeah.
Okay, the Pirates suck, but if he can get 20 saves again, like, I'll take that.
Yeah.
I do not
they're
have
not-
Bednar at 4. I have Giovanni Gallegos at 4 because, like Jason said when he was talking about Gallegos, like he thought he was going to be the closer, and then Helsley showed up. Well, that means he's still a really good reliever, and if anything does happen to Helsley, you've still got the really good reliever in Gallegos. So I've got him at 4.
Okay.
Yep.
I've got Alexis Diaz at 4.
There.
And Jason mentioned bedknobs and broomsticks. I've got bedknobs and broomsticks at 3. Yeah.
And I have Alexis Diaz at 3.
I will. You said something very, very poignant there that I want to take umbrage with, sir. You said that the Pirates were going to be the worst team in baseball, and I contend to tell you that there will be a team in baseball that loses more games than the Pittsburgh Pirates this season.
Okay, maybe I should have said the worst team in the league.
I will contend that a National League team will lose more games than the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it the Reds?
The Washington Nationals are a fucking thing, bro.
Oh.
They're bad.
I like them better than the Pirates.
A bad team.
I like them better than the Pirates.
I don't.
There's just more talent. I think there's more talent in that team.
I like the Pirates more than the Reds.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Who? Why? O'Neal Cruz?
I don't think the Reds can pitch. And they play all their home games where they do. Like, I just don't think they can pitch. I really don't. And if you can't stop the other team from scoring, you're just not going to win baseball games. So.
Sure.
So we got Bednar at 3. Now, do we have the same? This might be the first time we don't have the same top 2 all the way around.
Really? Okay. You want to just say your 2-1, Jason? Who are your 2-1?
Helsley 2, Devin 1.
Yeah,
Me
that's
too.
fine. Okay. I could hear the argument that Helsley was a better pitcher than Williams, though, if somebody wanted to make it.
Yeah. To me, it's just that it was last year was phenomenal, but it was like his only good year. Like, I would need to see that again to be able to put him at the top. I like make sure that he is the guy in St. Louis and that, like, this is real. Then I can see moving him up. But right now, Devin Williams is, I think, the undisputed closer in Milwaukee.
Yeah. And
he's got that changeup. Like, now that Josh Hader's gone, like, he is the guy. Mm-hmm. He is the number 1.
And yeah, I was to sort of piggyback off what you said. Like, we talked about how Helsley and Gallegos always were kind of fighting for that job. Matt Bush, who?
Number 10.
Who else is in this bullpen? Like, I looked at it on Roster Resource, and the third guy whose name I wouldn't even dare try to pronounce.
Strzelecki.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, nope.
Nailed it. Yeah, that's true. That's true. What about Fuck Barmer on the Reds?
Fuck Barmer. His name. You have to be very careful when you enunciate his name.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, Buck Farmer.
Buck Farmer. That's right.
Got it.
Farmer.
My sleeper's Will Crow in case something happens to Bednar.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fun.
I like that.
That's fun. Jason, who's your sleeper?
probably this kid Hobie Milner on the Brewers.
Ew, he was awful
Again,
in Anaheim.
well, like he's the only lefty there, so like again, like especially with my cousin on the IL, like he's the only lefty in the bullpen, so that could be something. But I mean, I'm not probably going anywhere near him in the draft, but he's somebody to look out for.
Yeah, why not?
You got a sleeper in this terrible division, Mike?
It's real tough, especially anyone that you guys didn't name. But let's go Julian Merriweather, who like saved a couple games in Toronto for Ben. Like
He's not on Toronto anymore?
no, he's on the Cubs.
The Cubs.
Okay. Good to know. Thank you for that. All right.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Right. So let's move on to the AL Central.
Do we have
Let's
to?
do it.
We do have
Gross.
we do have to. All right.
All right. I just want to get this out of the way right now. My number 10 is Aroldis Chapman. He's a terrible human being, but he's probably going to set up or close games for the Kansas City Royals. He's a fucking horrible human being. I will not draft him, but he has to be at least acknowledged that he's setting up for Kansas City so that they can trade him. Let's move on. If he's on your list, fuck him.
I have him higher.
You heard him, Jason.
Yeah, I do have him higher. I didn't want to, but I did.
Me too.
But my number 10. I feel like this is 10 with an asterisk because I don't know if or how much he's going to pitch this year. I have Liam Hendricks here because they haven't ruled him out for the season.
No.
So I think if he does come back, he's going to be the guy.
Oh,
I just don't know if or when that's going to happen. So I had to have him on this list.
For what it's worth, we saw Carlos Carrasco come back the same season. So, like, but he was not good at all. Like, that was the year before he was traded. So 2 years before he was traded, he had leukemia and came back and was not good at all.
Yeah. Maybe he's different in the bullpen. Who knows?
Maybe.
You know, and
maybe Hendricks is a different person. Like, it's completely possible that Liam Hendricks is not Carlos Carrasco.
It's very possible. Yeah. I can see that being a thing.
I have to be honest, I have him ranked much higher.
Yeah.
Just because,
I don't have him at all.
Okay.
I was under the assumption that like he was going to miss a vast majority of the season, so I'm not touching him.
Yeah.
My number 10 is a Cleveland Guardian pitcher named Trevor Stefan, who was on my team last year. Very nice strikeout rate. And he's just part of Cleveland, part of that bullpen. So I'll take him. That's my 10. 9. Joe, who's your 9?
The other guy from the Cleveland bullpen who used to be on your team, James Karinchak.
Okay. I have him higher, but yes.
So do I.
Wow. Okay. I had Stefan over him. Did Stefan had the better season last year, right?
Not really.
Oh.
Yeah. No. Karinchak had a 2 ERA, struck out 14.5 per 9.
Yeah.
Stefan had a 2.69 ERA, struck out 11.5 per 9. I mean, Stefan was good. I have Stefan at 9, so like Stefan was good.
I have him at 8, so like I just sort of put them in there.
Yeah. I still like Karinchak, but so yeah, I do have him higher.
Okay. Jason, who's your 9?
Trevor Stephan.
Oh, right. My number 9 is Kendall Graveman. Because he was okay. He was mediocre last year. I think they were expecting him to be sort of like that shut down second arm behind Liam Hendricks, and he wasn't. His strikeout numbers dropped. His K percentage dropped. And I think the manager came out in spring and said, we're not going with a set closer to start the season. So with that in mind, I don't necessarily trust that Graveman's the guy, and especially if Hendricks is coming back. So that's why he's at 9.
I have him higher.
Okay.
I have him higher.
Cool.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Joe, who's your 8?
8, I have Trevor Stephan.
Okay. Jason.
I have another White Sox pitcher that I don't know if we're talking about, but I have Aaron Bummer here because kind of what you said, that this could be a committee. I don't know if we don't know if Hendricks is coming back or when he's coming back. I feel like Bummer is like the top lefty of the bullpen. So like I feel like he could be a guy in a high leverage situation, could pick up some saves. He struck out 10.5 per 9 last year. Not great, not terrible. He only pitched 26 innings, so I guess there was a health issue. But the year before he was good. So yeah, I have Bummer here.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I like that. He just missed my top 10, but I have him like probably at 11 in this division. My number 8 is the woman beater Aroldis Chapman.
Moving on.
Joe, 7.
Scott Barlow, the guy who's actually going to close for the Royals, and yeah, they're also going to be terrible. They could also be a team that finished below the Pirates this year, but he's going to close the games, I suppose.
Okay, wow, I have him much higher than 7.
So do I. So
I mean, I just don't know if he's even going to be a real thing, because between him, Aroldis Chapman, Josh Staumont, and anybody else who wants to show their face in that team, like if he struggles, he there's no guarantee that the Royals are going to be loyal to him. None.
He also could be traded midseason and end up a setup guy on another team.
And the problem is, like, the vast majority of this division happen to be closer by committees.
Yeah.
Or at the bare minimum, they got like a duo. So you got to have those guys on the better teams above the dude on the last place team, right?
Yeah, I guess.
There you go.
Right.
I guess so. Jason, who's your 7?
My 7 was Bummer.
Your 7 was Bummer?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, your 7.
Oh wait, no, my 8 was Bummer. 7. Oh, my 7 is the woman beater.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're not gonna talk about him.
Okay. My 7 is the only pitcher of note on the Detroit Tigers, Alec Lang.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know anything about him except the fact that he's probably, without question, the best pitcher on the Tigers.
He is the only guy on this entire list that I think is going to be the closer of a team that I don't have ranked. I almost did, and the Tigers are just so bad. I couldn't.
Okay.
I've got him at 6 because he's he's probably a safer bet for saves than Scott Barlow, but the team is equivalently bad. And there's still pairs and like the big guy to go in front of him. So I got 5 dudes ahead of the closers on the bad teams.
Okay. I guess
the guy
me,
and then 2 other guys on each team.
Yeah. I guess for me, I'm like, Scott Barlow did it for a full season. So I feel like the Royals have that faith in him to close. But again,
and why did they go sign Chapman?
Yeah, why would they go sign Chapman?
Yeah, I don't get that.
Detroit literally has nobody else. This is one bullpen that I dove into because I wanted to find the next guy when Lang doesn't do it. It's just not there. There's no dude with a strikeout rate. There's no dude with a minor league track record. There's no kid that they're trying to push. There's no dude on a big contract. It's nothing.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. They did sign Chase and Shreve for what that's worth.
He still pitches.
Tyler Clippard's going to come close for them next.
Tyler Clippard is going to work with Matt Bush. That was terrible. So 5. Who is your number 5?
For me, it is.
Oh wait,
I have Jorge Lopez here.
Lopez.
We talked about the duo thing. He is part of the duo. I think he is the lower of the duo, so I have him down here on the Twins. he came out of nowhere last year. You guys know better than anybody how he came out of nowhere last year. Between the two of you, I know Jorge Lopez is an interesting fella.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he is.
Did we get your 6, Mike?
My 6 was James Karinchak.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 5, I have Lopez 1 spot higher, and I'll talk about him momentarily. My 5 is Garrett Crochet.
Oh.
All of a sudden, this left-hander who can throw a buck-02 has an opening.
I think
If you're telling me this kid
injured.
can't run away with this job?
Is he injured?
He is injured.
Really? I did it twice.
He is raising the intensity of his weekly bullpen sessions. This was like last week.
Okay, so is he going to miss? He's not going to miss too much time, is he?
He had Tommy John last April, so he's still on his way back from
mid-May. They're saying is his timeline.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's
if
not
we're going to
terrible.
go talent, I'll still put him as a top 5 guy. I can understand moving him back, though.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to be the full season. And that, to me, screams opportunity. It still screams opportunity because without Liam Hendricks there, this is like different than anything else coming out of their bullpen, right? They got Joe Kelly who throws hard, but this dude throws ridiculously hard.
Mm-hmm.
So let him run away with the job.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. I didn't even really consider him because he is hurt, but I didn't realize he was coming back so soon. I probably could have squeezed him in here somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. The talent is there for sure.
Yeah.
My 5 was Hendricks, Liam Hendricks.
Let me take a moment to take my 4 here on Jorge Lopez since he was brought up just a moment ago.
Go for it. Yeah.
Don't be too overly surprised if Jorge Lopez has more saves this season than Joan Duran. Why? Because Joan Duran is an arbitration eligible player, and getting more saves makes him better for arbitration. But if they hold down the saves this season and let Lopez walk into free agency and let somebody else pay him for the saves that they have on this team, then they can keep Duran's contract low for next season. So I'm just saying, don't be surprised if there are 35 saves to be had this year between them. Don't be surprised if like it's 25-10 Lopez.
You're absolutely right. I could see that happening even outside of the contract discussions, just because like it seems like Duran might be a guy that they want to throw multiple innings. Like there's a lot of reasons behind that, but I think Duran's just a better pitcher. I think.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree as well. Yeah.
So Lopez was your 4.
Correct.
I have Karinchak at 4.
Okay.
To me, he's the next guy in that bullpen, and I mean, 14 and a half strikeouts per 9 is just disgusting.
Yeah. Stupid.
Yeah.
I had Scott Barlow at 4. So we already talked about him.
The bar is really low there.
What?
The bar is really low.
The bar is really low. That's correct. And then I had Jorge Lopez at 3. So, Joe, who's your 3?
I have Kendall Graveman here only because I assumed he was going to be the guy, but now I feel like he could probably go down, but then who's he going behind? Like, there's not a whole lot of options here that I like better than him, or even my sleeper starts to be an idea where I might get in on that guy too.
Right.
Because this White Sox bullpen all of a sudden is just the messiest thing.
Yeah. Yes. I agree. Jason, who's your 3?
My 3 is Graveman. Because I think he's going to be the guy. Yeah, I think he's going to be the guy in Chicago until we see Hendricks come back. If he does, Rusty Resource has five dudes in this closer committee.
Yeah,
but I think it's going to be Graveman for the most part. So I trust him more.
Okay. All right. I guess I'm the only one that's kind of out on the White Sox bullpen here. Because I mean, I've got Graveman at 9, and injured, unplaying Liam Hendricks at 5. So
Who's
I
at
think I'm out
3?
on this bullpen. What?
So who do you have at 3?
So my 3 is Jorge Lopez.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have
Wow,
Barlow
okay.
at 4, Lopez at 3. Yeah.
All right.
Joe, who's your 2?
This is where I have Joan Duran because I do think
Yeah.
he's the second best pure relief pitcher in the division. But I don't think this is the season for him. I think you're 1 year early on him this year.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a 2. I think our 2 and 1 are the same, right?
Yes.
Yeah. By the way, I just want to bring up, as long as we're about to say that Emmanuel Clase is the best American League closer in baseball, let's also not forget this was the piece that they sent Corey Kluber to the Rangers for. And at the time, we were like, what in the hell is Cleveland doing? They're getting this nobody reliever back for Corey Kluber, who won them 2 sides. They won, guys. They got it right.
It was a very fussy move.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. Deep sleeper in the AL Central. Joe, who you got?
Ronaldo Lopez. No bullshit. Like, he's got the stuff to be a closer. He really does. And the reason that we saw him succeed in the 2019 season when Ben Nisman ran him to a championship over us, like, he has this, he's good. He just doesn't know where it's going most of the time, and that usually makes you a better reliever than it does a starting pitcher. So if there's going to be somebody who can come out of nowhere and really lock down this closer role for the White Sox while Hendricks is out, maybe it really is Ronaldo Lopez.
Who the hell knows? Anything's possible in Chicago.
Right.
Yeah. Jason, who's your sleeper?
I'll go with Alex Lange, whatever his name is, in Detroit. Again, who's probably my 11, because I did have him, and then I was just, the Tigers are just, I couldn't get behind the Tigers for anything. But if somehow they manage to put some wins together and he gets some saves, like, yeah, I could see that he's good enough. So I'll make him my sleeper.
Nice. I'm gonna go with another Minnesota Twin here. A guy who I had on my team for part of last year, Griffin Jax. I loved him last year. He was fun.
It's a great name too.
I don't think he's ever going to close a game, but he's still he's a quality bullpen arm that can, and Baldelli proved that he doesn't mind playing Griffin Jax 3 days in a row. And so I really value that in a relief pitcher.
Yeah.
So,
he likes the rubber arm guys. Good
Yes. All right. That wraps up the AL Central. Let's move to the NL West.
All right.
So who's going first on this one? Jason, who do you have at 10?
This one was tough, man. This one, I don't even know if I have this right at all, this entire list. But I'm going to pick Daniel Hudson here, because he's hurt right now again. But apparently he's still supposed to be the closer for the Dodgers somehow. So if that happens, I have to keep an eye on him. So I have him at 10.
Does Nick Martinez count?
I think he's a starter this year.
I think he's
that would mean also that Seth Lugo wouldn't count either.
Correct. They're the same guy, aren't they?
I think they're both. They're like the 4-5 in San Diego.
Okay, that's weird. So it's Darvish, Musgrove, and Snell, and then those 2 guys. Oh, I don't like that at all.
Well, I remember Musgrove just broke his toe. So
I heard about the Musgrove injury. I'm just saying, in a vacuum, that is an ugly group, dude. So I had Nick Martinez there. I'm going to back out of that and say Pierce Mike Johnson is going to be my number 10, because if anything happens to Daniel Bard, who else do you got?
That is true. I like that Pierce Mike Johnson. We did neglect Michael Wacha as another starter on the Padres.
Yeah.
But,
there you go. Okay.
Yeah. I think they plan to go with a 6-man before Musgrove broke his toe.
Right. Because Martinez and Lugo are, you don't really know what you have with them. Yeah.
They're half a starter each.
Yeah. All right, so I pierced my Johnson. We've got Daniel Hudson. I have to be honest, I have 4 Dodgers on this list because I don't know who the hell is going to do what, and they were all pretty good last year. Jason, I have the same number 10 as you, Daniel Hudson.
Yeah, okay. I have 3 Dodgers on this list.
Okay.
I have 2 Dodgers on my list. Hudson's not one of them because he's injured. I'm interested which one I don't have. That's okay. We're gonna find out.
Yeah, I guess we are.
Yeah.
All right, Jason, number 9.
I'm going with Tyler Rogers here. He pitches a lot. He doesn't. His strikeouts are horrible, and he had a really bad year last year. A pretty bad year last year. But he pitches. He goes. I mean, he's out there like every fucking day. So, he's a guy that at least get you relief appearances, get you innings. So, I don't like the Giants, but I'll take him.
Okay. Joe, who's your 9?
And Mark Melanson's still in Arizona, right?
Yes, he is.
Okay, I'll take him.
Somewhere in Arizona. Yeah.
Yeah, he's somewhere in the desert, possibly throwing baseballs, and perhaps toward the end of a baseball game. I'll go ahead and put him on my list here at 9, but he is not my highest ranked Diamondback.
Okay. I think I know who your highest ranked Diamondback is.
I think you guys will figure it out too, but I'm going to sing his praises again.
Okay. My number 9 is also an Arizona Diamondback, but not either one of those. I've got Andrew Chafin.
I like that pick. I really wanted the Mets to sign him. They're saying that they have him as listed as a possible closer. I don't know that he's a closer.
I don't know that anyone on this team is a closer.
You're absolutely right. I have one guy from the bullpen on this list because I feel like I had to because it's the Diamondbacks, but I don't know that any of these guys are closers.
I have to be honest. I hate Mark Melancon. He's not on my list.
He's not on my list either.
I don't like him as a pitcher. I don't think that.
He's got like close to 300 career saves. So like
he was good.
Mm-hmm.
At one point.
Last year, he had a 14.2% strikeout rate. That's like, I think that's the worst in the National League.
That sounds about right.
As far as bullpens go. That is the worst in the National League.
So you took Chafin with your 9.
I took Chafin with number 9. That's correct. All right. So we got everyone's 9s. Jason, who's your 8?
Robert Suarez.
He's my 8.
Guy from San Diego. Yeah. Because I think he's the guy behind Hader. He had a really good year last year. It was his first year, so I don't know if it's I don't know yet if it's real. But it was good. So why not?
Yeah.
I have Suarez at 7, so
okay.
Right. So who's your 8, Joe?
Here's where I start singing about Miguel Castro, man. Like he was good in New York. And just walked off into free agency. And Arizona was like, oh, hey, dude, come on over here in the basket of like sort of okay dudes we've got. Like they don't have any one guy. But tell me why it can't be Miguel Castro. He's got a better strikeout rate than Melancon. He's got more experience on the back end of the bullpen than anybody else in that bullpen, not named Mark Melancon. Because he spent time at the back end of the bullpen in Baltimore. Like, they signed him to a free agent deal. They literally let people walk so that he could come here. They let Ian Kennedy walk so that he could come here. Ian Kennedy's career is over so that Miguel Castro's can continue. That's how that works.
Wow.
That's exactly why they did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Flip a 5-headed coin, and that's who the closer is on the Diamondbacks. I have no idea.
Yeah, pick somebody out of a hat.
Pick Miguel Castro. That's what I'm going with.
So my 8 was Suarez as well.
Okay.
Jason, who's your 7?
The guy who I think might be the closer in Arizona, I'm going with Joe Mantiply. Just because. Like, I don't know, but he had 2.85 ERA last year. I mean, he didn't even strike out 10 per 9. Like, but I don't know. I don't know what the Diamondbacks are doing. Sure, it could be Miguel Castro. It could be Byung-Hyun Kim. I don't know. But I'm going to go with Mantiply just because.
Just because. All right. So we all have different Diamondbacks on our team in our rankings.
I think we can all, though, agree that like none of us would be surprised if it was Melanson.
Yeah.
But I think we would all be surprised if it wasn't Melanson for one of these guys initially. Like if the first save opportunity went to one of these guys other than Melanson and you didn't see him pitch in the game, I think you'd be at least this much surprised it wasn't him.
Agreed.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Agreed. He would be a part of the winning recipe for the Diamondbacks.
He is the guy. He's the established guy. If they have any chance of trying to contend with the two, the big guys up top, they need him to be what he used to be. I just don't know if he can still be that.
Yeah. All right. So that was who's 7? Jason, that was your 7, right? Mantiply.
That was my 7. Yeah.
And Joe, yours was
Robert Suarez. So we can just move on.
Okay, my 7 is a Dodger pitcher, Brusdar Gratterall, because he could close. He could.
Yeah. I wanted to have him on this list. It was either him or Hudson.
You don't have him at all.
I don't. I was really high on him a couple of years ago, and I feel like he hasn't put it together. He's been hurt a couple times, I think, and he just missed. He just missed my list. Because I don't know that he's getting. They've never given him a real shot to close, and I don't know that they're going to do that now. So,
I guess my argument
like
is that if there's ever a time this guy could get a chance, I think it's now because
they've
got nothing else.
Yeah, so, I mean, he could. He could.
Possible. Who knows?
I didn't like his strikeout rate compared to the other two Dodgers I have on my list, so that's why I kind of knocked him off.
All right. That is fair. So, Jason, who's your 6?
One of the other two Dodgers that I have on the list, Alex Vesia.
That's my 6.
Hey, that's my 6.
That's the guy I don't have. Because he's the lefty.
Yeah, he struck out 13 per 9 last year.
Yeah.
An ERA just over 2. Again, I don't know if he's going to close. He might. He's the lefty, so maybe he does. I don't know. Again, this is it's kind of the same thing as the Diamondbacks, right? But we're not talking about it in the same kind of tone because it could be any of these guys, right?
Yeah, and one of them could run away.
We have more faith in the Dodgers. We have more faith because they've done this with nobodies before, and the Diamondbacks haven't with guys better than this.
But that's my point. Is that because the Dodgers, we're saying yes, we know what they're doing, but do we know what they're doing?
No, they know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing. We don't know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing. And we trust that the guys they're putting in place, like my number 6, which is probably the only other guy we haven't talked about yet, Evan Phillips.
Yes.
Who was this guy last year?
He was on my team last year.
You're going to put him over a 24-year-old Brusdar Gratterall? Brusdar Gratterall is Kenley Jansen. I want to say this right now. Brusdar Gratterall is Kenley Jansen. He's just 24 years old right now, and they're bringing him along slowly because if they blow out his arm at 25, he's Joel Zumaya.
Wow.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I like that comparison.
I want you to be wrong, but I don't know. But I had Phillips last year, so maybe there's recency bias. I have him higher. I have him a little bit higher.
Yep.
Yeah, so I've got Phillips at 6 and Gratterall at 5. Those are my 2.
Okay. Cool. I have Vesia at 6. Jason, who's your 5?
My 5 is the other Rogers in the Giants bullpen.
Oh my God,
Taylor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because again, I think he's the next guy up for saves. He's done it before. So he's a guy I have to consider.
Yeah.
You had him at 4 as well, Mike?
I had him
Or
at
5, rather?
five
We
as
have a
well.
5.
So he's my number 4 for all of those same reasons. Continue.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Jason, who's your 4?
My 4, again, this might be recency bias. I know I have him too high here, but I have Daniel Bard.
That's not too
No,
high.
That's not too
It's
high at
not
all.
okay.
No, it's
Okay,
not.
good. I didn't want to do it, but I had him last year also, and like I did not think that he was going to come out and save 34 games for the Rockies. Like this guy was washed up and pitched to a 179 ERA. I don't know that he can do it again, but it was
Who else?
nice. It was nice to have. It was nice to have.
Who else is going to do it in that bullpen?
Mhm.
No, nobody.
Yeah. My number 4 was Evan Phillips. I don't know why. Because I don't know why, but whatever he did last year, it worked, and he could do it again. Who knows?
And he's my number 3.
Oh, okay.
Because I had him and Bard last year, and that was my bullpen. Like those were my bullpen horses last year, and it worked. So yeah, I don't know if Phillips is real, but
I don't know. Yeah, Joe, who's your 3?
I'm just doing math in my own head. Like I'm just picturing these lists in my head for you guys, and there's just like one missing, and I don't know who it is. My 3 is Camilo Doval. Where the hell is he on your guys' list?
2.
Okay. All right. So I guess I can understand why. If we're talking about Daniel Bard at like 4 for you, then you like Duvall as a pitcher better. But to me, Duvall's role as the closer kind of sits in that same Joan Duran situation with the guy they brought in Taylor Rogers, who I have at 4. For me, Daniel Bard is the safer option here for all of the saves. And therefore I have him at 2.
I like it. That makes sense. I'm getting what you're putting down. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. I think we have Doval too because he's a better pitcher. He's the younger guy. He came out
Better
last
team.
year.
Like everything makes sense for it.
Right.
But there's that guy that they just signed whose brother is also on the team.
But like, I mean, he saved 27 games last year, so it's not like it's not like they split the save chances last year.
And they went and got a guy who saved 30 games last year whose brother's on the team.
Yeah,
they could pitch back to back in the 6th and 7th.
Yeah.
So it would be a fun.
And they can sit back to back at 3, 4 in my rankings.
There you go.
Haber number 1.
Josh Hader. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Josh Hader. All right, sleeper.
Oh boy.
I don't know.
Somebody just say Phil Bickford. Thank you for saying Phil Bickford.
Oh, okay. Why?
I'll go with any of the Diamondbacks that I didn't mention. Like anybody that's not named Joe Mantiply is a sleeper for me because I don't know who it is, but one of those guys is going to be a closer.
I think the one we didn't mention was Kevin Ginkel.
Yes, it was.
I can't even say that name with a straight face. My sleeper is a guy that was injured last year. He's still injured going into the season. I don't think he's even going to pitch this season, but you know what? If he does, Tyler Kinley on the Rockies, he was lights out last year. He was on my team for like the 24 innings that he threw, and he was like, no one could touch him. And then, of course, he got hurt. But I don't know if he's going to play, but I guess that makes him a sleeper. Who knows?
I couldn't pick that dude out of a lineup of 2. And if the other one was you, but no.
I do have a real sleeper in this division.
Okay.
And I also don't know when or if he's going to pitch. I don't know what his injury status is, but he just signed with the Dodgers. Alex Reyes. This kid close for the Cardinals, right? If he's any remotely close to healthy, like again, we just talked about how this bullpen is pretty wide open. Maybe he has a shot.
Yeah. Look at the IL for the Dodgers here. We've got Daniel Hudson, Alex Reyes, JP Fireisen, and Blake Trinan.
Yeah, that's a whole good bullpen in and of itself. And
Yeah.
JP Fireeisen might be the closer in 24.
He could
Yeah.
be. He could be. All right. So does that wrap up the NL West here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We've got one more division, and it's probably one of the most confusing ones, but it's the AL West. Jason,
Yeah.
or Joe.
This one also.
Oh, you want my 10? So until recently, I had this guy a lot higher, but I've been watching him here in spring because I really wanted him to start like putting it down and making sure that he can get this job. And he has just absolutely sucked so far, and his competition has been very good. So I'm starting to see where it's starting to drift apart. Carlos Estevez has been really bad this year in spring, guys. Like
Ooh.
he was really bad today too.
Yeah. I have him higher, but
I had him higher
I'm
too
with you.
until I literally started like looking at this, and I'm like, no, I think I like this other guy better right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have him higher too. I didn't know he was pitching so horribly in spring.
He is.
And the thing is, like,
have
he's a
him,
Colorado guy. Like, are we really going to believe that the Colorado guy who wasn't even the Colorado closer is going to be better now?
Well, he's pitching in a better ballpark, so
This worked for Ubaldo Jimenez. How?
oh,
This didn't work for Brian Fuentes. This didn't work for Ubaldo Jimenez. This didn't work for John Gray yet. So until it works, we're going to believe that it doesn't. Like, who's the dude who was?
Houston Street.
Okay, that's one. A decade ago.
Yes. Yeah.
A decade ago. Maybe he'll be that guy.
it.
I don't know, but like I don't know. I don't think I like that at all anymore.
Yeah.
okay. Jason, who's your 10?
My 10, and like I'm picking guys out of a hat almost in this division.
Me too.
I'm going Rafael Montero here. Yeah, because am I too low on him, Joe?
I have him higher.
Yeah, I have him a lot higher.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he's the guy behind Presley, but again, I'm going with the guys who I think are the clear-cut closers first. So he is the clear-cut next closer. So that's why I have him where I have him. He's next in line. Okay. I don't know if he's real. He was terrible in 21. I don't know how real he is. So we gave up on him. The Mets did. So
we gave him up on him a long time ago.
Yeah, and we're just now starting to talk about him as like a guy. So I don't know. I'm a 10. I'm not out on him, but I don't love him.
Yeah. We talked earlier about, or I think it was you, Jason, that you did not have the Detroit closer ranked. And I think that was your only division where you didn't have like a closer ranked. For me, it's this division, and I don't have Trevor May in my top 10, just because I don't really believe it. I don't believe that he's the closer. I have the next guy up in Oakland as number 10 for me, so that's Zach Jackson, who just had better stuff than Trevor May last year. So that's it. I just don't have faith in Trevor May as a closer. That's all.
I'm gonna have to look up Zach Jackson. I don't know. I couldn't pick that child out of a lineup of 2.
He had a 12.6 K per 9.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah.
I mean, he definitely had good stuff. I don't know anything
by the
about
way,
it.
Jason, this is another team that could definitely be worse than the Pirates this year.
Yes. That's why when I revive myself by saying they're the worst team in the National League, it's because of this team.
And surprisingly enough, I do have Trevor May ranked at 9, but
so do I.
I could definitely not see him being there by tomorrow.
Yeah. Tomorrow. All right. So Joe, Trevor May is your 9.
Yeah.
And
he's Jason's 9.
He's your 9 as well. So my 9 is Joe Bob Herget.
Got him a little higher, actually.
Okay.
So do I.
I probably would have raised him higher if I had known Carlos Esteves was struggling so much, but yeah, he's 9 for me right now. Maybe Esteves finds it in the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So who knows?
Or the next 2 months.
The next 2 months, yeah. All right, so Joe, who is your 8?
Jonathan Hernandez. I feel like he's going to be the like it's him and it's Joe Barlow and it's some other dick and it's like Brock Burke or Matt Moore or whoever the hell. Like this spot is the Rangers setup guy, right? Jonathan Hernandez seems like a guy that they're kind of committed to. So there you go.
Okay.
All right.
Jason?
My 8 is Joe Bob. Yeah, yeah. Look. I mean, it was like one good year. Like, and I really didn't know that he was actually this good last year. So maybe he's a guy. I don't know. Why not?
Yeah. Why the hell not?
Why the hell not?
Why the hell not? My number 8 is a name that you just said, Joe, and it is Brock Burke, a man who pitched 82 innings last year.
Wow.
82 innings with a 1.97 ERA. And
you know what I'm going to ask you, right?
What are you going to ask me?
Do you really think Brock Burke is going to go out and throw another 82 innings of sub-2 ERA baseball?
No, I don't. But if we're talking about Texas Rangers setup, man, he's one of them. So that's it.
All right.
That is it.
So he pitched 82 innings last year, but he didn't pitch at all before. Last time he pitched in the big leagues was 2019. So like that's why he had all his innings saved up.
Yeah.
All right. So he probably sat out the 2020 season, or there was Tommy John surgery or something. Yeah. Okay.
All right. But yeah, we don't know what we're gonna get with him. Joe, who's your 7?
This is where we need to start putting respect on the man's name is Jimmy Herget. Can we start like speaking that as if this person is a real person here? Because this dude is pretty damn good, and y'all have absolutely no respect for what Pitching Ninja is calling the human glitch. You want to talk about herky-jerky, funky delivery, it is this dude. However, he also had a 216 expected batting average and a 248 ERA. He was closing out games for the Angels at the end of the year. I just get the feeling like they're going to go closer by committee, but like they seem to like this weirdo. So let's put a little bit respect on his name. His name is Jimmy. It's not Joe Bob. I'm sorry, Joe Bob. Jimmy, we called you that last year. Jimmy Herget and his 14th percentile fastball velocity. He's in the bottom 86% of fastball velocity. He's also at the bottom 99% in extension, which is a measurement of how far from the pitching rubber your fingers are when you release the ball. He is the shortest reach because he's literally just shot putting it. It's weird.
That sounds healthy.
I know. 7.
7. All right.
Close out all the Angels games and he could be 2.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Jason, who's your 7?
It's another member of this Angels committee that we haven't talked about. I have Ryan Tepera here because they're calling him a part of the committee. He's got more experience than Jimmy. So I do have him a rank higher just because I feel like, yes, maybe Jimmy becomes the guy. I don't know what he is. I at least know that Tepera has the experience. He's been around, so he's not great by any means, but I could see there being a thing there.
Okay. That is fair. I have got. Who do I have? Oh, Carlos Esteves at 7. So Joe, who's your 6?
Bring on the closer by committees that are going to happen. It's going to kick off here with Paul Sewald.
Okay.
He to me is the second best dude in Seattle's pen. And I have him as the only other guy in the pen other than the top guy.
Okay. I have three. I have three of them.
Okay. You brought, is it Diego Castillo? Oh wow, he made it. Good for him.
I do have him a little bit higher. I tell you, this division was so hard.
Yeah.
This division was just ridiculous for me.
Mhm.
I have Estevez at 6, and like it's those three guys. Like, yeah, they can be jumbled up to me. Like you said, Estevez has been dog shit this spring, so like maybe that means something. Maybe it doesn't. I mean, Max Scherzer hasn't looked great this spring either. So I don't know. I don't know what spring means, but so I think Estevez is going to start out being the guy. Does he remain the guy? I don't know, but I have him at 6.
Okay.
He just gets hit so damn hard, man. He throws the ball really hard, but he just gets hit so hard. He doesn't strike anybody out. He does. He's in the bottom 80% in whiff percentage and walk percentage. Like neither one of those things are conducive to a guy being a successful pitcher. He's not getting anyone to miss his pitches because they're not in the zone. That's the problem here.
Yeah. I don't like him. But if he's closing
this
games
division's
in
kind of
Anaheim,
rough. This division is kind of rough.
Yeah.
My 6, I actually have 3 Houston Astros in my top 6.
So do I.
So my number 6 is Brian Abreu on the Astros.
Oh, he was my sleeper.
Oh, sorry.
He's my number 5.
Yeah. Yeah,
he's
dude,
filthy, dude.
out.
He's absolutely filthy.
Yep.
And yeah.
That top 3 in Houston, it terrifies me. So Brian Abreu at 6.
Dude, 98th percentile in whiff percentage. Like by comparison, he is 70% better at whiff percentage than Carlos Estevez.
Wow.
But again, for me, it's the saves. He's not getting saves, so like I couldn't get him in here. That's why he's the sleeper for me.
Yeah, good call. So Joe, who was your? Oh, your 5 was Abreu, right?
My 5 is Abreu, yeah.
Okay, Jason, who's your 5?
I have Diego Castillo here. Honestly, I probably should have put Abreu here instead of Castillo, but I just feel like I think Sewald is going to be right now. Sewald is the guy in Seattle. Munoz should be the guy in Seattle, but he's hurt. So like, or he had like foot surgery during the offseason, so they're going to bring him along slowly, I think. So I feel like Castillo could be in the mix for sure for some saves. So I have him here. I don't like him. I don't like anybody here.
Fair enough.
I didn't realize that Munoz was hurt.
Yeah,
he had off-season surgery. It's not that he won't be ready for opening day. They're just bringing him along slowly right now.
Okay.
In fact, he's not throwing yet, but he's ahead of schedule. So like he should be ready by opening day.
Yeah, okay. But I just I can just see them like kind of doing the Duran thing, right? Where like, well, we'll get to Munoz, but
definitely see that.
Right.
Yeah, Mike, who do you have at are we at 5?
We're at 5. I have Paul Sewald at 5.
Okay.
So Joe, who's your 4?
4 here is where Munoz sits. Actually, it's just kind of convenient that we're hitting this. But yeah, like I didn't think of it until Jason just said it about the service time manipulation, because Paul Sewald will be the dude, much like Jorge Lopez, who's the veteran who will walk into free agency at the end of the year with a lot more saves. Diego Castillo fits that as well, whereas Andres Munoz is the guy who's going to be on the team for long term. You don't want that guy's arbitration to go up because he's already eating into saves that you're going to give him again next year. So yeah, though he may be the most talented of them, 4 is about as high as I can get him.
Okay. All right. I understand that. Jason, where's your 4?
My 4, Jose Leclerc.
Okay.
He's gonna be the. I think he's finally gonna be the guy in Texas. We like Texas. When he's been healthy, he's been good. He's been good. If it's Jonathan Hernandez, it's Jonathan Hernandez. But like that's it.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely making the case for why Leclerc is valuable. I just don't understand how you could have anybody other than Presley in front of him.
I have Leclerc.
I have the 2 of the Mariners guys in front of him.
Okay. But like it's only him, right? Like we kind of assume that it's only him, whereas there's two Seattle guys.
Yeah, but you know me and the Mariners.
That is a good point.
My 4, I don't even think we mentioned him yet, but Rafael Montero is my 4.
He was my 10.
He's my 3.
Okay.
Yeah, he is. Jason, you can't hold what the Mets did to this kid against him. He's figured it out now. Because a year from now, when Ronaldo Lopez has figured it out and it's this guy, like it's these stats that we're looking at, and he's like a setup guy for a really, really good Liam Hendricks, you're going to want to get on board with that too. This kid is really good. You need to do it. Just look at the numbers and forget the name. Sometimes you have to do that.
Yeah, I mean the number he had in 21 he had a 6.39 ERA. He struck out like less than 8 per 9. Like I'm not blown away.
He went from a 231 expected batting average in 2021 to a 204. Brought his X slug down 30 points. Brought the WOBA down 100 points. His exit velocity came down. He's figured it out. What is the difference here? I will find you the pitch too.
I mean,
increased his four-seam usage. So he increased the fastball. That's what it is, and he's throwing the fastball really, really hard.
I mean, okay, like sure. I have him at 10. It's not like I have him off the list, but
yeah,
he's not getting saves. He doesn't blow me away.
Okay. I was considering actually. I was torn between Montero and Abreu, like who to put ahead of who. I know in roster resource, like Montero is ranked higher, but I don't know. I think Abreu's got like some of the best stuff. I would argue that he should potentially be higher than Montero, but who knows?
Until Houston shows me that. I can agree that he has better stuff, but until Houston shows me that.
Yeah. Right. My 3 was Munoz. We covered your 3.
My 3 is Munoz too.
Joe, your 3 was
Montero.
Okay,
because of health. Like if you're telling me Munoz is going to be brought along and he might have a health issue, I'm going to split the hair and say Montero.
Okay. And we both have the same 2, Joe. We have Leclerc.
Correct. Jason, for all of the reasons Jason said to have him at 4, but it's the only guy.
Yeah. I have Seawald at 2 because it is the Mariners, and again, I think right now I think he is the guy. I don't think he'll be the guy, but going into the season, he's the guy. Until he's not, he's not bad. He hasn't been bad, so I'm okay with him at 2.
Okay, so we all have the same number 1.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's a like if Diaz is the best closer in the National League, hands down. Like this is the best guy in the division, hands down. Like there's no question.
Yes. He's for me the 3rd best closer in baseball.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Wow, 3rd best in baseball?
When it comes to drafting in the bigs, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Diaz, and then it's Clase, and then it's this guy who's on the best team in the AL.
Wow. All right. I have him ranked 7th in baseball, but I have Hader and Devin Williams and Jordan Romano and Ryan Helsley all in front of him. But I could hear the argument.
Yeah.
It's the team. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Who
Ooh.
is your deep sleeper for the AL West, Jason?
Well, I mean, can I stick with Brian Abreu?
Sure.
Because that's who it would be. Also, like Danny Jimenez in Oakland, like again, like he was a guy last year, so like if Trevor May is gone tomorrow, like maybe he's the guy.
Yeah. Had some experience getting saves, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. He had what, like 11 last year, so yeah,
Something like that.
yeah.
Joe, who's your sleeper?
I actually want to go last on this one because I want to find a write up on this kid
Okay.
specifically. So just give me a minute.
Okay. I'm gonna go Matt Moore. Why not? He's on
Yeah,
the he's
and
on
he's
the Angels
he's part
now.
of that committee.
Yeah, he's part of that committee on the Angels. He had a great season last year, so who's to say he can't do it again? And I think he's, you know, if the closer job is up for grabs, he can snag a few of those. So
More or less.
more or less.
I found it. It's just loading right now. But what I'm looking for in a sleeper this year, and specifically when it comes to the bullpen, we got to find a situation where there is not a set closer. There is a situation where there is not a very obvious guy that will eventually take it over. And so you need something so wide open that it is completely possible that somebody we're not talking about, somebody that may have only been drafted a year or two ago, just comes out of the minors and just does unbelievable things. What would it take for a kid to come out of college and immediately be throwing at a major league level within a year? Would it be that he could throw maybe 104 or 105 miles an hour at 22 years old? Would you be interested in a kid if I told you that all of these things kind of were aligning for this? Would you like this if I told you that this team was probably going to win more baseball games than it lost? I'd like to introduce you gentlemen to a gentleman by the name of Ben Joyce. Ben Joyce is a right-handed pitcher out of the University of Tennessee, drafted in 2021. And Ben Joyce is a right-handed prospect for the Los Angeles Angels who throws 104 miles an hour regularly. You
Mm.
tell me why he can't close in Los Angeles by season's end. What else does he have to do? 104, you can't coach it, you can't teach it. It just is. You throw that child until his arm falls off, and then you rebuild his arm and figure out what he is after this.
Yeah, that's a great call. That's a great call. I love that. And you're absolutely right because his bullpen is wide open.
His prospects worldwide page says the following: has been up to 104, consistently sits 100 to 103. His fastball may be the most electric in the industry as seen out of an amateur. Explosive out of the hand, plays well in the upper half of the zone. It's not easy to pick up out of the hand either due to his 3/4 borderline high sidearm arm slot. He's coming sidearm at you at a $104, bro. Tell me why he can't close in LA.
I've never heard of him, but that sounds great. I'm on board with
Welcome.
it.
That was one of the deepest sleepers I got this year for you.
That was really deep.
That's a great sleeper.
Yeah. Love it. All right, gentlemen, we have reached the end here. And you know what? I liked this show because in our league, we each need to have, 6 relief pitchers on our team at the very least. So in this regard, we talked about 10 relievers in each division, so 60 relievers, but of course we didn't have the same 10, so it was something like 80 to 90 relievers that we just talked about, and even that number is low for what we need to be drafting for in the bigs, which is wild.
96 if you only count the 6 spots we have, but if you take away Ari's and
True.
And you count certain starting pitchers have RP eligibility, but yes, your point is very valid that we didn't even scratch the surface of what we're gonna be drafting for in the bigs.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild, but we did it. We made it through all of our preseason rankings.
I only named one injured guy.
So proud of you. So proud.
Good job.
And I made up for it with Ben Joyce. You guys are going to like that kid.
Yes. Yes, you did make up for
Enjoy.
it. Yeah. So yeah, this was fun. Thank you guys for humoring my idea here and for for doing this. Both of you. Jason, thanks a lot.
Mike, yeah, absolutely. I love talking baseball with you guys, and this was your brainchild. It was a great, lots of fun, challenging, very challenging to put this list together. This is one of the hardest ones to do, but yeah, we did it. I'm happy to do it, guys. The draft is what, like 3 weeks away or something like that.
Yeah, it's so exciting.
Dude,
it's so
I
exciting.
can't wait.
Joe, thanks so much. Thanks so much for humoring us tonight with this. And I like Joe in his comfy chair. I really do. I think that's an
appreciate
asset.
you hosting this one because I don't know that I would have been able to go all over the place with all of these other guys. Like CNL Perez, I had no idea he was even going to be spoken about here tonight, and I probably would have wigged out if I was hosting this thing. So thank you for hosting. I look forward to seeing you guys doing a lot more work here. Now that we've run through all the positions, what's next?
So Jason and I talked briefly about next week at some point, or next episode, we're potentially doing a sleepers, busts, and breakout for every single position for our next show. So that is something to look forward to. And then who knows, we're gonna have to fill like 2 weeks of time before.
Well, in that time, we definitely are going to have Ben and I are going to have another show. I have to do a show about the Gladiator League that's still out there. We're going to have to do news and notes from all of the injuries that happened, like Gavin Lux and Glasnow, and now Brendan Rodgers' shoulder.
Yeah.
All of those things will have to be covered. So we've got a lot of stuff that'll be coming, but you guys, I am proud as hell of the two of you for putting together what you guys have.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it.
We could have done without you, dude.
Oh yeah, no, of course not. Of course not.
Now sign this motherfucker off. Let's go home.
All right. Jason.
It's been real.
And it's been fun.
And it's always real fun in the bigs, guys. We'll see you next time.